Welcome to Lesson 28 of the workbook. Yesterday you declared that above all else you want to see. Today you're taking that desire and making it specific, concrete, practical. Above all else, I want to see things differently. This is where your commitment to vision becomes real. It's one thing to say you want to see in general, in some abstract spiritual sense. It's another thing entirely to look at the actual objects and people in front of you right now and say, I want to see this differently. This table, this hand, this person, this situation. Not someday, not in some mystical realm, but here, now, with what's actually in front of you. Let's read the lesson together and explore what it's asking us to do. The lesson begins. Today we are really giving specific application to the idea for yesterday. In these practice periods, you will be making a series of definite commitments. The question of whether you will keep them in the future is not our concern here. If you are willing, at least, to make them now, you have started on the way to keeping them. And we are still at the beginning. This is important. You're making commitments today. Not promises about the future, but commitments in this moment. Will you keep them perfectly? Probably not. That's not the point. The point is making the commitment now, being willing now. That willingness, even if imperfect, is what moves you forward. Then comes a question you might be asking yourself. You may wonder why it is important to say, for example, above all else, I want to see this table differently. In itself, it is not important at all. Yet what is by itself? And what does in itself mean? Think about this. What exists in isolation? What has meaning completely separate from everything else? The Course is pointing to something profound here. Nothing exists in itself. Everything is connected. Everything is part of the same whole. The lesson continues. You see a lot of separate things about you, which really means you are not seeing at all. You either see or not. When you have seen one thing differently, you will see all things differently. The light you will see in any one of them is the same light you will see in them all. This is crucial. Right now, you think you're seeing many different, separate things. A table here, a hand there, a person over there, each one separate, each one different, each one with its own isolated existence. But this fragmented perception is not seeing. It's blindness. Real vision sees the unity, the oneness, the same light shining in everything. And here's the remarkable promise. When you see one thing differently, truly differently, you will see all things differently. Because the light is the same, the truth is the same, the holiness is the same. You don't need to individually transform your perception of every single object in the universe. You need to genuinely see one thing truly, and that vision extends to everything. Now the lesson explains what you're actually doing in today's practice. When you say, above all else, I want to see this table differently, you are making a commitment to withdraw your preconceived ideas about the table and open your mind to what it is and what it is for. You are not defining it in past terms. You are asking what it is rather than telling it what it is. You are not binding its meaning to your tiny experience of tables, nor are you limiting its purpose to your little personal thoughts. Look at what's happening here. Every time you look at something, you don't actually see it. You see your ideas about it. You see your past experiences with similar things. You see what you've decided it's for, what it means, how it relates to you and your needs. You've already defined it, categorized it, interpreted it. And once you've done that, you stop seeing. The lesson says, You will not question what you have already defined. And the purpose of these exercises is to ask questions and receive the answers. This is the heart of the practice. You've defined everything already. This table is for eating at, working at, putting things on. This hand is for grasping, writing, gesturing. This person is your friend, your enemy, your superior, your inferior, someone who meets your needs or threatens them. You've decided. And once you've decided, you don't question, you don't see, you just see your definitions. Today's practice is about withdrawing those definitions and asking, what is this really? What is it really for? Not telling, asking, not imposing your tiny understanding, but opening to truth. The lesson continues. In saying, above all else, I want to see this table differently, you are committing yourself to seeing. It is not an exclusive commitment. It is a commitment that applies to the table just as much as to anything else, neither more nor less. This is important. You're not saying the table is special, more important than other things. You're saying your commitment to vision applies equally to everything. The table is neither more nor less worthy of true vision than anything else in the universe. Then comes something profound. You could, in fact, gain vision from just that table if you would withdraw all your own ideas from it and look upon it with a completely open mind. It has something to show you, something beautiful and clean and of infinite value, full of happiness and hope. Hidden under all your ideas about it is its real purpose, the purpose it shares with all the universe. Read that again. This ordinary table has something beautiful and clean and of infinite value to show you, full of happiness and hope. It has a real purpose hidden under your ideas about it, a purpose it shares with all the universe. What could that purpose be? The purpose of everything in this world, according to the Course, is forgiveness, healing, awakening. Everything is a classroom. Everything is an opportunity to choose again, to see truly, to remember what you are. The table is not separate from this purpose. It shares the purpose of the universe, to bring you home. The lesson makes this explicit. In using the table as a subject for applying the idea for today, you are therefore really asking to see the purpose of the universe. You will be making this same request of each subject that you use in the practice periods, and you are making a commitment to each of them to let its purpose be revealed to you, instead of placing your own judgment upon it. This is staggering when you really take it in. When you look at that table and say, above all else, I want to see this table differently, you're not just asking about a piece of furniture. You're asking to see the purpose of the universe. You're asking to see how this moment, this object, this encounter fits into the grand purpose of awakening. You're letting go of your small judgments and opening to revelation. Now let's look at the practice instructions. We will have 6 2-minute practice periods today, in which the idea for the day is stated first and then applied to whatever you see about you. Not only should the subjects be chosen randomly, but each one should be accorded equal sincerity as today's idea is applied to it, in an attempt to acknowledge the equal value of them all in their contribution to your seeing. 6 practice periods of 2 minutes each. In each one, you look around randomly at whatever your eyes happen to land on. And here's the key: equal sincerity for everything. Don't judge some objects as more worthy of this practice than others. Don't think, well, this important person deserves my sincere attention, but this pencil doesn't. Everything gets equal sincerity. Everything has equal value in contributing to your vision. The specific instruction. As usual, the application should include the name of the subject your eyes happen to light on, and you should rest your eyes on it while saying, "Above all else, I want to see this differently." Each application should be made quite slowly and as thoughtfully as possible. There is no hurry. Slowly, thoughtfully, no hurry. You're not rushing through a list. You're genuinely looking at each thing and asking to see it differently. You're resting your eyes on it, staying with it, opening your mind to it. Let's explore the theoretical depth of what's happening in this practice. You've spent your entire life looking at the world through the ego's lens. The ego has taught you to see everything in terms of how it relates to you, how it can be used for your purposes, how it threatens or supports your separate existence. You've divided the world into categories: useful and useless, beautiful and ugly, mine and yours, friend and enemy, important and trivial. None of this is seeing. It's all interpretation, judgment, projection. You're not seeing things as they are. You're seeing your thoughts about them. And your thoughts are based on the fundamental error of separation, on the belief that you're a separate self who needs to use the world to survive and be happy. When you ask to see things differently, you're asking to see beyond all of this. You're asking to see what things really are, what they're really for. And what they really are is part of the one unified creation. What they're really for is the Holy Spirit's purpose: to serve your awakening, your return to truth, your remembering of oneness. This table that you think is for eating, working, holding objects, its real purpose is far more profound. It's here in your experience as part of the curriculum designed for your healing. Every encounter with it is an opportunity to choose the Holy Spirit's interpretation over the ego's, to practice forgiveness, to remember that nothing here is separate from you or from God's purpose. The same is true for everything else. That hand you think is for grasping and manipulating objects. Its real purpose is communication, extension, joining. That person you think is separate from you, who can help or harm you. Their real purpose in your experience is to be the beneficiary of your forgiveness, the witness to your decision to see truly. Everything shares the same purpose. Everything is part of the same curriculum. Everything is equally valuable in contributing to your awakening. This is why the lesson emphasizes equal sincerity for all subjects. You're not making distinctions based on the ego's categories. A table and a person have equal value in this practice because they equally serve the Holy Spirit's purpose. When you genuinely see one thing differently, you'll see all things differently because you'll have shifted from the ego's way of seeing to the Holy Spirit's way of seeing. You'll have moved from perception based on separation to vision based on unity. And once you've made that shift with one thing, the principle applies to everything. This is why you could gain vision from just that table. Not because the table is special, but because the practice of withdrawing your ideas and asking to see truly can happen with anything. The table is simply the specific object you're using to practice the general principle of seeing differently. Now let's consider the practical application. You have 6 practice periods of 2 minutes each. During each period, you look around at whatever catches your eye and apply the idea. Above all else, I want to see this differently. A chair, a wall, your hand, a tree outside the window, a sound, a sensation, whatever appears in your awareness. The key is to do this slowly and thoughtfully. This is not a mechanical repetition. You're genuinely looking at each thing and asking for a different way of seeing it. You're acknowledging that you don't really know what it is or what it's for. You're opening your mind to receiving an answer. You might not get a dramatic revelation during the practice. You might not suddenly see the table glowing with holy light. That's okay. The practice itself is creating the conditions for vision. You're training your mind to question its definitions, to withdraw its judgments, to ask rather than tell. This is the foundation of seeing truly. As you practice, you might notice resistance. Your mind might say, "This is silly. I know what a table is. Why am I asking to see it differently?" That resistance is the ego defending its interpretations. It doesn't want you to question what it has defined because those definitions maintain the entire structure of separation. You might also notice how much you've actually limited everything you see. You've reduced the infinite to the tiny. You've made everything small and comprehensible to your separate self's understanding. When you ask to see differently, you're opening to something beyond that smallness. Some people report that objects start to seem less solid, less fixed during this practice. That makes sense. Your certainty about what things are is what makes them seem solid and definite. When you withdraw that certainty and ask to see truly, the rigidity softens. You're seeing with less judgment, which means you're closer to seeing what's actually there. Others notice a sense of connection or unity emerging. As you practice seeing different objects with equal sincerity, recognizing their equal value, the sense of separation between them begins to dissolve. You start to see how everything is related, how the same light could shine in all of them. Still, others experience moments of peace. When you let go of your definitions and judgments about things, you let go of a tremendous burden. You're not constantly categorizing, evaluating, defending against, or reaching for everything you see. There's a rest in simply asking to see truly and being open to the answer. The commitment you're making is significant. You're committing to seeing over not seeing, to questioning over defining, to receiving over imposing, to the Holy Spirit's purpose over the ego's interpretations. This commitment, made repeatedly, throughout the day with specific objects, trains your mind in a new way of relating to reality. If you want to deepen your understanding, I invite you to watch the explanatory videos on the text chapters. These explanations, along with daily practice, accelerate the transformation. This lesson builds directly on yesterday's declaration that above all else you want to see. Now you're applying that desire to the specific contents of your awareness. You're making it real. You're practicing with the actual stuff of your daily experience. Don't underestimate the power of this practice. Every time you genuinely ask to see something differently, you're loosening the ego's grip on your perception. You're creating space for the Holy Spirit's vision. You're moving toward the moment when you will see truly, when the light in one thing will reveal itself as the light in all things. Practice with sincerity today. Choose your subjects randomly, without preference. Give equal attention to everything. Say the words slowly, thoughtfully. Above all else, I want to see this differently. Rest your eyes on each thing. Stay with it. Mean it. Ask genuinely to see what this thing really is, what it's really for. You're not just practicing with objects. You're practicing a complete reversal of how you've been relating to reality. You're moving from judgment to openness, from definition to inquiry, from separation to unity. This is the practice that will ultimately give you vision. Remember, either see or you don't. There's no in-between. Right now, you're not seeing. You're seeing your interpretations, your definitions, your projections. Today's practice is about withdrawing all of that and asking to actually see. To see what's really there. To see the purpose everything shares. To see the light that shines equally in all things. Make your 6 practice periods count. Do them slowly and thoughtfully. Give equal sincerity to everything. And trust that this practice is preparing you for vision, for the moment when you will see one thing truly, and in that seeing, see all things truly. Your willingness to see differently is what will bring you home. Thank you. See you tomorrow.